Hey, and good Tuesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski here, back on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with the weather report. Yeah, this is your no-nonsense weather report without all that social media hype and not a lot of the bull that just gets thrown around out there. Our motto here is real simple. We want to keep you prepared and not scared. And if you'd like that kind of approach, I'd be an honor and a privilege and a request, if you could, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you can, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on these updates. We do these every Monday through Friday, and of course on weekends, depending on if anything special is going on, like say a hurricane or something like that. But anyway, we got lots to talk about in this update here. We're going to give you the latest on Erin. Of course, there's a lot of social media stuff. I'm still not really concerned about the storm. I think we may get our first hurricane and probably a major hurricane at some point here this week. We're going to talk about overall evolution of the weather pattern, the influence of what Erin's going to do. It's still looking like we're going to see a change in that pattern toward the end of the month. But let's go ahead and get started here for today. Let's go ahead and first take a look at our extremes yesterday. Death Valley, 124 degrees. Ouch. And Peter Sinks there in Utah, once again, that was our cold spot at 25. Almost 100 degree spread. Got close. I'm still waiting for that one to pop 100 here. Haven't quite done that yet, but that's a pretty good, interesting spread out there. All right, let's see what's going on out there this morning. We got a lot of clouds here across the mid-Atlantic and going into the southeast. Got some thunderstorms up here across Wisconsin, crossing Lake Michigan there. Got some rains back over here toward Texas. Pretty quiet out here in the west. Still pretty hot and dry out there. So don't have to worry about anything going on out there for right now. But we're definitely going to be seeing the heat building in the plains. And, flash flood warning, there's another one there. Again, I kind of designated this teaser talking about Erin as well as being the year of the flood. I can't remember a year where we had so many flash flood warnings. Those are in South Carolina right now. Just this unrelenting pattern where we just had a tremendous amount of water in the atmosphere and a lot of flooding going on. It's the year of the flood. I couldn't have timed that any better if I wanted to. All right, so anyway, let's get this thing out of studio mode, get back into my normal mode here. Here we go. All right, so here we go with our surface front here for this morning here on the 12th here. So we got got some rains up here across portions of Wisconsin, and we got some rains down here across areas of the southeast as well. Got high pressure here. Here's our frontal boundary right there. And this is going to eventually sweep in across the northeast here a little bit. Again, these systems this time of year, they're pretty weak. They're not overly strong. So as they can move with a westerly flow, they're pretty high up. So anyway, we're going to be tracking a lot of moisture here across the southeast. That's going to be enhancing that rain across the south, Alabama, North Georgia, my neck of the woods. Could be looking at some heavy rains up this way as well. All right, so let's talk about some of these rains. We've got some pretty decent rains there across Lake Michigan. Let's go pull up Radar Mega here this morning. We just got this starting to cross here. I was tracking this earlier. It was going through Milwaukee. Now you got these heavy thunderstorms going north of Grand Haven. Looks like you got a few rains there across Grand Rapids as well. So Rockford back across. Illinois is also getting some rains here this morning. So, but that's a pretty good little vortex, like a little upper level disturbance there, kind of riding into Lake Michigan there, kind of enhancing those thunderstorms there as they're coming into that area. Now, as we look at our watches and warnings out there right now for this morning, as this thing gets updated here, again, not looking looking too bad out there. Let me do this one more time, see if it'll get updated here. There, come on, let's go. Oh, well, it just went out. That's what you call live TV, man. And yeah, it's just not updating this morning, but that's okay. We'll go on to our next thing here. Let's go look for the Hurricane Center right now. The big thing I wanted to show you on this map was it's just a lot of heat advisories out here in the west. It's quite a bit of this, and this is going to be shifting out here into the middle of the country as we go here in the near future. So just it's coming. It's coming. We're going to see that heat really build in the middle of the country. I'm going to show you the temperatures here on the models here in just a second. So let's go look at the Hurricane Center latest data here. This is our latest run right now. Top sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. I guess the one interesting fact is this thing is really hauling. I mean, moving west at 22. That's moving pretty good. It's not in a very hospitable environment right now. It's kind of surrounded by some dry air and things and some dust in the area. But as we go into late in the day tomorrow, going into Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we're anticipating this storm to potentially go a hurricane around that time. And then as we get into early Sunday morning, that's when we're looking at it becoming a major hurricane, a Cat 3. So what we're going to watch is this thing's going to eventually start to make a turn. Now, the question is, how close to the coastline is it going to get before it makes that turn? That's probably the one thing that's making me a little concerned. Is the fact that its forward momentum is so fast that if it doesn't slow down at all, it may get closer to the coast to really cause some major wave action along the coast. So let's see how that works out. I still think it's gonna stay offshore here. I think all the indications are that's where it's going to be. Again, I got the water vapor energy up this morning. Look at all this dry air. This is all this yellow out here. This is dry air. Here's our storm right there. So again, it's probably some little Saharan dust in there, some warm, dry air. It's not in a great environment right now, but it should begin to improve as it gets further and further away from the coast of Africa and starts to make its way across. So as we go later in the second half of the week here, it should begin to strengthen and feed off those very warm waters out there in the middle of the Atlantic. So let's look at the tropical ensemble here. As I go look at this here, as you got this in motion, you can kind of get an idea. Everything's pretty much in agreement as it's coming across. But then as it gets to that position here, as it gets to right about there, that's where we're going to see the kind of the split in the models in here. You see the kind of the wide range here. Is it going to favor the Lesser Antilles? Is it going to be further up to the north? It does make a big difference. Here's our high pressure ridge out here in the middle of the Atlantic. So it's going to make a turn right around there. So that's what we're going to watch as this goes forward. So watch as I go ahead and step this forward here. And again, you see the diverse spread in the models are quite extreme here. Is it going to be way out here, or is it going to be closer to the coastline? That's going to be the big thing. We're going to make the turn. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We're going to make that turn. It's just my concern is how close to the coastline is it going to get. What they typically do is they take the middle ground, and they're going to go right in the middle. You see a lot of these pink lines in there. That's indications of, again, a major hurricane coming through here. So if you're going to split the hairs and go right down the middle, that's what we're going to be looking at here. That's what the Hurricane Center is going to be forecasting here as it goes around this big high pressure, which shows up very nicely, by the way. I mean, you clearly see it right smack there. So it's going right around that edge, and then it's going to move into the northern Atlantic. So it's going to make a nice turn going into this upcoming weekend. And then in its wake, behind it, that's when we'll see that eventual pattern shift, which will bring probably some cooler temperatures across the eastern third of the United States as we go into the end of the month. So that's what we're looking at right there. So I'm going to play this one more time for you here. Let's go get this thing playing again and loop and get looping again. We'll let it loop one more time. As you just kind of watch it go tracking on by. It's going to continue to the west, and it'll leave a slight southwest as that high kind of pushes down on it a little bit, and then it's just going to make that nice right turn as we go into this upcoming weekend. So it looks like as we go into Sunday, Monday of next week, we start making that turn, and then getting picked on out and go on out to sea. So other than that, that's really the main action there. And there's a couple other tropical waves behind this, by the way, we'll watch that'll be coming in off the African coast here in the days ahead. Other than that, the Pacific's pretty quiet. We got Henrietta out there in the middle of the Pacific, but other than that, just a couple of tropical waves out there, but nothing really to be concerned about right now. Looking pretty quiet out there in the Pacific. They got a little chance to catch your breath out there in the Pacific Ocean for right now. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our model data here. No, first, getting ahead of myself. Let's go take a look first at the thunderstorm threat here for today. Thunderstorm and flooding. Those are the two big things we like to highlight here. Let's look at weather-wise here. Here we go. And we're looking at, again, marginal risk. Not bad today. Again, we're talking about these areas up here across Michigan, back into Indiana, and again across the UP of Michigan, back into Wisconsin. Kind of seeing some of that action here for today. The main thing you're going to see for today is going to be the wind threat, and that's running about 5% in those zones. Again, that brown zone right there. So we're talking about South Bend, Detroit, Bay City, get up to up back here just north of Madison. So right in through there. That's what we're looking at right there. And let's go into our day two. Let's check out day two here. Day two. Again, just a general thunderstorm threat here across the east. Got a little pocket here across South Dakota. That's where we've been getting a lot of action here in the last week or so. Rapid City over to Sioux Falls, seeing that right through there. And then day three, it does kick up a little bit of a notch. There we go. As we got that slight risk going into Grand Forks and coming into Minnesota and through most of North Dakota. A little bit of South Dakota getting in the action there as well as we go to day three. So that's going in toward Friday. So Thursday, getting a day ahead of myself. I wish it was Friday, but no, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. This is Thursday right here. All right, so that is that portion. Let's go look at the excessive rainfall. And boy, it seems like every day I'm hearing something about flooding somewhere in the country. Just really amazing. So we got three different areas. A little monsoon out here in Arizona and New Mexico. The southeast got a tropical influence of moisture coming in out here. And of course, with that system across Minnesota and Wisconsin, that's for today. It does pick up here. I'm on day three again. Damn it, I hate what I did. Here we go. This is day one. God bless. I hate that. I was like, wait a minute. That was the earlier update here. So here we go. So here we go. Here's day one. I hate when I do that. All right, so here's our day one now. There we go. They finally updated this. I was looking at this earlier. It was still green. And then I was like, come on, guys. I know you're going to update this. Here we go. So here's the two pockets here. The North Georgia, Carolinas, that's where I look there. Along the Gulf Coast, that's there. And then look at day 2. There it goes, stays green there across most of the east. It goes all the way up into New England. Look at that, all the way up there. And again, this is a low risk. When you see that green, it's kind of a localized flooding when you get these individual thunderstorms that'll do a little dump on you there. That's what you got to work out for those areas there. So then we got a little cluster up here across Minnesota and the Dakotas as well. You know, just a pretty big area there. Then day 3, that's the southeast. So my point here for the southeast is you got 3 days of kind of consistent chances of some heavier rains because of that tropical influence of moisture coming in out there. All right, so but it seems like the same zones, either the high plains, the southeast, and the southwest, and that's going to continue really for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday all this week. All right, now let's go and check out the model data here. Let's go look at that together here as we go look over to the models here. We're going to check that out. Let me get that up for you real quick here. Let's get back over here. Here we go. All right, so here we go. Let's check this out here for today as we're seeing that scattered storm threat across the southeast. You get some rains here across areas of the New England as well. And here's a little disturbance here. Nothing to look overly that impressive here on the NAM 3 kilometer. Just some scattered storms across the southeast. Here's our frontal system here coming across the Great Lakes, and some rains going into the Carolinas. So it doesn't look really all that impressive, just some scattered storms. And again, each one of these storms, because of the high moisture content, can be really gully washers there. And hopefully we'll see some of this smoke kind of clear out of the northeast. I think we're going to. In fact, I can kind of show you that real quick. Let's show you that real fast. I did notice that looks like we start clearing a little bit of the smoke out of the northeast. Look at how this clears out. This is the high resolution model here running over the next day and a half or so. So you can see next 2 days, you see it kind of clearing on out. We got a little shock coming on down there, and it does clear out. Now the west, different story. Looks like there's a lot of fires going on out there, a lot of smoke there across Nevada, California, into Arizona, New Mexico. So we're still seeing a lot of smoke out there. But I think the northeast, looks like you get a shot of clearing out some of the smoke out there. Not today, but more so in toward tomorrow. I think things begin to improve a little bit for you guys in that neck of the woods. All right, so let's go back here to the forecast models here. Again, looking at the rain totals here. I'm going to go ahead and stop this at the end. We're going to highlight the high rain chances here going into Thursday afternoon. So it looks like a lot of areas here in the south. North Georgia here picking up some 4-inch possibilities here. Northern Alabama showing some 3-4-inch possibilities in here into Tennessee. So pretty good heavy rains there. The Gulf Coast. Also here across East Texas. Again, there's a big bullseye there, 7 inches there. So again, these thunderstorms, wherever they pop up, can really be some really big, heavy thunderstorms. There's 2 inches there in Kansas. And we still some heavy rains here across West Virginia. And you kind of looks like it's got the measles. So just got to get an idea of the scattered nature of the storms here, even going into the northeast, the Great Lakes area here over the next day or so. So again, just watch out for the individual flooding, as we mentioned, those green zones there as we go for the next 3 days going through Thursday. Now, as far as the temperature is concerned, this is going to be part of our story here for this week. We've been talking about this over the last day or so. We're going to really see that heat build in the middle of the country. I mean, it really just kind of pulses up, and it really kind of reflects this. Now, just watch as this thing's looping on through. You're going to see the middle of the country. Watch that purple really start to expand out there going into your Wednesday afternoon here. Look at it there. It kind of lights up there, and it can light up even more going to Thursday and Friday. So we're talking triple-digit temperatures. You're really going to build across the middle of the country. The Northeast is going to get a little bit of a break. They've been hot here recently. We're going to break those temperatures down a little bit as we get some of that cool air that's going to kind of work its way into this way. So you see it there kind of dropping off at the 70s. You see that cool air kind of filtering in there. So we'll see the Northeast get a little bit of a break. But the heat in the middle of the country, boy, that's really going to be a big deal. And I'm going to take this all the way out here to tomorrow afternoon to kind of highlight this. So look, I mean, we're showing 94, 95, 95, and it's going to get even hotter, folks. We're looking at triple digits. By the time we get to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I'll show you the European model, it's getting very, very hot out there in the middle of the country. Very hot. All right, so let's look at your overall weather pattern here. This is the European model here. Got this looping once again. Still showing that storm getting awfully close to the 0Z run. Got it awfully close to the Carolina coast. Here's that big trough on the back side of this once again as this thing kind of moves on in. So we're tracking that storm here off the East Coast. And almost from freeze it right there. So this is going into Monday. This is 168 hours. Got a big trough here in the Northeast. You got this big trough out in the West Coast. It's going to keep cool there. Big high pressure ridge. That's just the heat in the middle of the country. It's going to really build here in the middle of the country. But here's our hurricane. out here in the Atlantic. And as it comes to the north, looks like it gets to its closest approach, if you're going to follow this model, right there on next Thursday. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday. You got that big trough here, picking it up. But this is a little closer than I would like to see. That's awfully close. I'll call some very rough seas and high wave action here across the mid-Atlantic. That's very likely going in toward the middle of next week. But it gets picked up and it goes on out. It swishes on out to sea. When it does, it drops this big trough back on the backside of this going toward the end of the month and into the 26th. So I do anticipate we'll probably see a nice below normal temperatures here across the east as we wrap up the month. If everything holds true with this setup where this thing goes around the high pressure and goes on out to sea, and we get a nice little dump there. Now, what that's also going to mean is two things. It's going to be very hot out here in the west, and it's going to be cooler here in the east. So it's going to be really the tale of two seasons there on either side. A little bit of a fall taste to the east and very summer-like and hot out in the west as that storm begins to exit. So it just kind of illustrates once again how a hurricane, even if you're not getting a landfall, can overall impact the overall weather pattern across the country because this causes the jet stream, the main westerly jet, to buckle and change its trajectory. All right, so let's look at our forecast here as we're looking at, again, we're waiting for this troughiness that's going to be consistent here across the east. Look at this, here comes our hurricane right here. This is a 7-day run. Again, we're watching that storm come on up here and the pressure dropping off here. And by the time it gets to the end of this, we're at 946 millibars. So we got a good Cat 3 hurricane here off the Carolina coast here. But again, we've got this trough that's moving on in here, okay? So I can see these lines of equal pressure dropping off here. These are, when you ever get a trough, it's almost like a magnet. It's going to attract that hurricane, find that area of weakness, and it's going to pull it northward, and as it does so we got this right now. This is going toward next Monday. What we're anticipating here is you've got this frontal system coming down here, and it's going to pick this hurricane up and take it on out. So that's what we're looking at right there with this system as we go toward the end of next week. Now, we'll watch this closely. Could change day to day, but again, I'm going off of history, climatology, where it's at, its latitude, how things are looking in the atmosphere. I still think this thing stays off the eastern seaboard and curves off, but its forward speed is probably the one little thing that gets me just a little concerned, just a little bit. But I think for the most part, this thing should take a turn and stay off the eastern seaboard. Hopefully it doesn't get any closer to what it showed overnight. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the rainfall totals here the next 7 days. Well, we got a big bullseye up here across Minnesota. You think you're getting some storms up here? Yeah, pretty good bet. We got 3 inches, 3.5 inches, 3 inches. Scatter rains here across the southeast, 1 to 2 inch possibilities out here. Monsoonal moisture, definitely seeing more and more of that increasing across Texas and into New Mexico, even Arizona. So that means that extreme heat that y'all had a week or so ago there across the southwest, not going to see that as the monsoon starts to kick up back there. You can get some decent rains here across the northwest. Check that out. Look at that. They've got that big trough. Remember, we showed you that trough coming in here toward the northwest. We got 2-inch rainfall totals up here as well. So a couple of hot spots. The northwest, they're in the middle of the country. The monsoon and scattered storms across the southeast, even get into the Midwest and into the New England states. All right, now let's talk about those temperatures. I really want to talk about this. This is a snapshot here for Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock here on the European. 102, 101, 102, 101, 102. You got a lot of hundreds here in the middle of the country. Again, the Northeast, you're looking at upper 70s and low 80s. Definitely a far cry from the hot temperatures you're going to have out there today. Will definitely demugnify the air just a little bit. Is that a word? I think I just made that up. Demugnify. I think I'm gonna trademark that one. So anyway, let's go check out your Friday afternoon here. Friday afternoon, still look at this: 103, 104, 101, 102 degrees. A lot of heat. That's just your air temperatures. That's not your feel like temperatures. So you know we're gonna have a lot of heat advisories here in the middle of the country there toward the end of the week. Still nice up in the northeast. The southeast starts to warm up finally, seeing the 90s back in here that have not seen it since about 1 August. So areas around Atlanta, Georgia may be getting close to 90 degrees by the time we get toward Friday of this week. And let's go into your Saturday. Let's go into your Saturday afternoon here. Saturday afternoon, again, 107, wow, 105, 104. Again, a lot of heat here in the middle of the country. Expanding the heat here coming into the Midwest now, getting into 90s into West Virginia, getting into Kentucky, Alabama, Florida. Still not looking bad in the Northeast. The Northwest is also looking pretty decent, not bad. Southwest is really getting a break. I mean, the extreme heat there, you'll see a lot of 80s. That tells you the moisture really coming up out here. You don't see a lot of purple there? Yeah, you know you're getting some rain, so things are going to be cooling down out there in the Southwest here. And then going into your Sunday, let's go check out your Sunday afternoon here. Going into Sunday, 5 o'clock. Wow, look at all that. Look at all that purple. We got a lot of the country really going to heat up. And that's really not that unusual. When we got a hurricane get ready to come off the eastern seaboard, we usually get a lot of heat that builds up before it kind of goes on by. And we're definitely going to see that. Check out Missouri, 103 degrees there in central Missouri near Springfield, 101 near Little Rock. Omaha seeing 103. I mean, just very, very hot temperatures. We got even into low 90s all the way up in North Dakota. So we got a lot of heat there building there. And then finally, let's go out to Monday. I want to do Monday and Tuesday. I do 7 days here, so let's do 6. Still looking at a lot of heat. Still looking at 100-degree temperatures out here all over the place. New England still trying to hold on to some cool air, but we're getting some heat here across Pennsylvania. We're getting near 91 near Philadelphia there. So D.C. getting the low 90s. Things kind of heating up there. And then finally taking you out to Tuesday. Let's take this out to Tuesday at 5 o'clock here. There we go. Cooling down here across the northeast. That's the cold front that's going to pick up our front. You see this? You can see a nice cold front there kind of showing up there. So here's our frontal system right through there. And that's what's going to pick our hurricane up there. But boy, we got a lot of heat. Look at this heat up in here. Wow, got 100 degrees up into Montana. So it's going to get very hot there in the middle of the country, especially with that trough digging on in the east and that ridge building in the west. So I expect some extreme temperatures out there. All right, let's get the latest from the Climate Prediction Center. Let's look at this and see if there's been any change. Now, the 6 to 10 day, I'm still pretty much in agreement here on this, okay? I still think this looks pretty good. This is going out from the 17th to the 21st, all right? So let's check out the 8th through the 14th period. There you go. There's the change. Remember, I was telling you yesterday, I thought we would see some changes, and I think this will be continue to get refined and changed again. So you notice we got, oh, look at this. Here's a little below normal here. I think we'll see more of that. But this is indications of what we're expecting with that cool air. But it's going to get very hot out here in the west. I do agree with this. I think this will change and get a little bit cooler still. As you got to get a measure how much cooler is going to come down on the backside of that hurricane as it goes by. But that changed as I anticipated yesterday. All right, so here is your 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Got a little dry pocket there out here in the west. Not looking bad there. And as far as the 8 to 14 day outlook here, looks like we got the dry air kind of picking up there with that dry slot coming down here and then here across the northwest as well. A little rain there across the areas there across the southeast and across the areas of the mountain range there. So we're going to watch out there for some storms coming out there. So that's what we're looking like right now. But again, we got to deal with that extreme heat out there for the next day or so. So we're going to have to deal with that here in the days ahead. So I'm going to have to adjust my setting on that because of the advertisement pop-up showing up on there. I guess they want me to re-sign up for them. I guess I can do that. So anyway, let's go back here to the overall map here. Who do we got out there for today? We got Rita out there. Good morning, Rita. Good to see you. I got the Mystic Monkey Creation. He's out there. Good to see you there, my buddy. How y'all doing out there this morning? Glad y'all are checking in here today. And, still continuing this work in progress on this. I'm hoping to have the hurricane report up, or the Hurricane Central update here either late this afternoon or early evening tonight. I want to do that kind of, this will be done in the morning. That'll be done in the evening. Of course, we do the tropical update on the weather report anyway. But that'll be kind of a strictly a tropical update feature there that I'll do in the evening time. And we'll go forward on this. So things seem to be progressing pretty good here. And appreciate you guys checking us out. We got about $12 earned so far this month. So once I get up to 100, I will do another advertise buy. We'll try to push that number up a little bit more. And we're starting to get a few hundred folks here watching on a regular basis. So just trying to find our audience, and we'll get there one step at a time. So, all right. Hey, no problem there, Rita. Appreciate you checking us out. And I'm still trying to find a replacement for my Chat Ninja because I can't figure that other program out. At least I haven't really had a lot of time to sit down and play with it to try to figure it out. But I'm going to miss my Chat Ninja. It was a great thing to have. I really loved it. Anyway. All right, you guys take it easy. That's y'all's update for today. We'll see you guys